In this video, we'll discuss TT's non-fix APIs as well as provide guidelines on selecting the most appropriate one for your needs. But first, let's start with an overview. The details related to TT's non-fix APIs can be found by going to the TT documentation page and then selecting the API section. You'll note that there are three: TT REST API, TT.NET SDK, and TT CORE SDK. TT REST API, as its name indicates, is a RESTful API that allows clients to access and, in some circumstances, update static and user data. TT.NET SDK is a .NET library that provides developers with the ability to create high-performance trading applications that communicate with the TT platform. Applications can execute on either a client server or in a client-side mode, or in a high-performance TT server inside the TT platform, or in a server-side mode. TT CORE SDK also provides developers with the ability to create high-performance trading applications that communicate with the TT platform but via a C++ Linux library. Applications will execute on a high-performance TT server inside the TT platform or in a server-side mode. One of the significant features of all these APIs is that they offer a normalized interface for interacting with all exchanges supported by the TT platform. In other words, instruments, price subscriptions, and order routing are all generic constructs which can be used for any market and asset class. This allows you to focus on the business of trading instead of subtleties and nuances of the markets with which you are interacting. In terms of selecting the appropriate API, scrolling down on this page displays a table in which use cases are driven by the required latency sensitivity. As you can see, TT CORE SDK and TT.NET SDK in server-side mode are appropriate for those applications which have the highest latency sensitivity. TT.NET SDK in client-side mode is appropriate for applications which have minimal to moderate latency sensitivity. And TT REST API is appropriate for applications that require only periodic snapshots of static and user data. Note that TT REST API does not support price subscriptions or order routing. Delving now into TT REST API, the available datasets or resources include TT-ID, which is for authentication, TT-PDS, which is for instruments, TT-Ledger, which is for fills, TT-Monitor, which is for orders and positions, and TT-Setup, TT-User, TT-Account, and TT-Group, which are for user and account administration. To interact with these datasets, you must first create an application key in TT-Setup tool. This key is essentially a proxy for your user ID. You will have the same permissions using TT REST API as if you were using TT's UI. In other words, if you request fills via TT REST API, the result will be the same as if you request fills in TT's UI via the fills widget. Once you have an application key, you must then request a security token. Notice how you can do this directly using the documentation as it is fully interactive. With this token, you can then interact with any of the other datasets to extract static data, as well as extract and update user administration data. Next, there's TT.NET SDK, which allows clients to build high-performance trading applications using a TT-provided .NET-based library. Applications can fetch instruments, subscribe for market data, route orders, and receive fills. Specifically, in terms of market data, applications can subscribe for inside market, depth, detailed depth, time and sales, as well as options Greeks. Further, TT.NET SDK supports order routing for exchange-native instruments, as well as driving TT's world-class algorithmic solutions, including autospreader, aggregator, ADL, TT order types, and more. Real-time updates for fills, position, and P&L are also available. Additionally, clients can utilize any Python implementation that natively supports loading .NET DLLs for full Python interoperability. We have an excellent video on the main help page that details how to get started with TT.NET SDK. You can be up and running in under 10 minutes. In terms of runtime environments, when clients execute TT.NET SDK applications on their own server or in client-side mode, the TT.NET SDK library uses a WebSocket to communicate with the TT platform. Market data is coalesced on this channel at a rate of about 35 milliseconds for inside market and 80 milliseconds for depth. and order routing latency is largely dependent upon the proximity of your application to TT. When clients execute TT.NET SDK applications on a TT server or in server-side mode, the TT.NET SDK library uses the same mechanisms as TT's internal components to communicate with the TT platform. In this mode, market data is uncoalesced, and order routing latency is on par with that of TT's low-latency algorithmic engines. One of the significant advantages that TT.NET SDK offers is that, with the exception of a small change in the initialization parameters, your code is the same regardless of the runtime environment you choose. You won't need to recompile if you make these initialization parameters configurable in your code. The plumbing in the library itself handles these details of the modes. This allows you to quickly migrate between runtime environments with the same application. For example, if you're using client-side mode and determine that your algorithm would benefit from executing in a lower latency environment, you can simply copy your application to a TT server and run it. And finally, there's TT Core SDK, which allows clients to build high-performance trading applications using a TT-provided C++ Linux-based library. It offers the same functionality as TT.NET SDK, fetching instruments, subscribing for market data, routing orders, and receiving fills. However, TT Core SDK was specifically designed to run only on TT servers built with the technologies such as stack bypass to provide the lowest latencies offered by any of TT's APIs. Furthermore, developers can utilize position reserve orders to reduce latencies by up to an additional 1/3. Developers can create their own standalone applications, or they can take an advantage of a unique feature of TT Core SDK named Application Server Mode, which allows users to control the application from TT's UI. This means that users can launch and manage the algos that developers have created in the same way as all other algos in the TT platform. At TT, we're not just a software company. We're your strategic partner in global trading infrastructure. We operate and manage 14 strategically co-located data centers with direct access to over 100 exchanges, all interconnected by a globally meshed, ultra-low latency network. This isn't just technology, it's the foundation for your competitive edge. We've engineered a dedicated infrastructure as a service network with high-end switches, giving you secure access to your own private network on TT's robust infrastructure. This means unrivaled low-latency access for your critical trading operations. We procure, install, and host your servers in your choice of our prime locations: Aurora DC3, CH1, NY4, FR2, Interaction, and JPX. You maintain full control, remotely administrating your servers over a secure VPN or cross-connect with out-of-band access to the ILO. Need to send signals, integrate third-party data, or securely manage your servers? Our private bandwidth between data centers provides the seamless connectivity you demand. And it gets even better. Whether you need market data, order routing, or exchange drop copies, TT offers flexible solutions, leveraging the power of the TT platform with our versatile API options, or connect directly to exchanges using TT's established connectivity. The choice is yours, and the performance is proven. Whether you're ready to deploy your application on a TT co-located server, we offer a range of configurations to perfectly match your needs. Choose from Gold, Platinum, or Platinum Plus. One will undoubtedly suit your unique requirements. You'll select the data center that best supports your trading strategy, and our expert onboarding team will be with you every step of the way, ensuring a smooth and efficient setup. Regardless of your server's location, your application will seamlessly subscribe to market data and route orders to any and all markets supported by the TT platform, all powered by TT's ultra-low latency backbone. With 30 years of unparalleled API development and hosting expertise, TT delivers a truly seamless, flexible, and high-performing single-vendor solution. We remove the complexities so you can focus on what you do best: trading. Please reach out to TT Sales for further information.